Hey everybody, it's Justin here. So, this week is movie week, and I thought I'd share with you some of my favorite movies. Uh, the first one I'd like to share with you is my favorite animated Disney movie, and that is Beauty and the Beast. I think I really liked Beauty and the Beast growing up because as a child, I think I saw it when I was really young, like elementary school age, and it really gave me hope that sometime in the future, no matter how I looked or my background or backstory, that someone was out there for me and someone would eventually love me one day. So it gave me a romantic hope as a young child. I think that's why I really liked it. The next movie I like to talk about is a Studio Ghibli film. And if you're not aware of Studio Ghibli, they're a production company in Japan that's super well known. I'd say that their most well known film is Spirited Away. Maybe you've heard of that one. But I grew up watching a lot of these movies because of my Japanese heritage. And growing up with a Japanese mother, I was watching Japanese movies. So, looking back on all the Studio Ghibli films I watched as a child, I really enjoyed Nausicaa. Um, the official title is Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. And it's about a post apocalyptic future where some sort of nuclear war happened and the world ended. But there are some people in certain areas where that stuff didn't affect them and they're still surviving. But there's this giant toxic jungle that's spreading throughout the world. And Nausicaa, who lives in the Valley of the Wind, is kind of given the duty to play the leader role, and it's kind of up to her to save her people. And the animation's really awesome in this movie. The story is really great. It's a really interesting storyline, and I think you guys will really like that one. I love that movie. The next movie I like to talk about is one of my favorite superhero movies, and that is the Spider-Man movie that came out in 2002. And yeah, that was like the first superhero movie I think I really ever saw. And whenever I think of Spider-Man, whenever I think of Spider-Man, I really think of Tobey Maguire and those first couple Spider-Man movies that I saw growing up as a kid. And I didn't know it back then, but come to find out, handful of years later, James Franco would be in one of my other favorite films. Which brings me to the next movie I'd like to talk about, which stars James Franco, and that is 127 Hours. This is a movie that is based off of a true story. This hiker by the name of, let's see here, Aaron Ralston. He was trapped. He was hiking through Utah, where there's a lot of different boulders and little slot canyons that you can hike through. And unfortunately, he got wedged between a fallen rock, or he got his arm wedged in between a fallen rock or fallen boulder and the canyon wall, and it crushed his arm, and he was stuck there. And it's a really, really incredible story of how he was able to survive for 127 hours, like the title indicates. The end of the movie does get a little grotesque. So if you're weak stomach to that kind of stuff, I'd suggest you not watch this. But for me, it just shows how strong humans really are and how far we can push ourselves. And last but not least, my final movie suggestion, I guess, to you guys. One of my favorite movie series of all time is the Harry Potter movie series. And I don't know. I grew up reading the books. I read all the books before the movies came out. My dad was really into the books, and he handed those down to me in elementary school, and I got to reading, and I fell in love. And yeah, I really love the books. I love the movies. I think they did a great job on both of them. But I'd say my favorite movie out of the Harry Potter series is probably Prisoner of Azkaban. I think it's, looking back on it, it's because you kind of start to get to learn about Harry's past and his family, his relatives, specifically Sirius Black. And that relationship between the two was really interesting in my eyes. So I really, really love The Prisoner of Azkaban when it comes to the Harry Potter series. Well, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'd love to hear your guys' movie suggestions in the comments below. I'll definitely get around to watching those, and when we see each other next, we can definitely talk about it. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon. Later.
Hey everyone, it's Jessica here. Since it's movie week, I wanted to talk about my favorite movies, my least favorite movies, and share with you my favorite movie memory. So, starting with favorite movies, I would have to say that I love documentaries. I love learning new things. I love movies that really dig deeper into things that especially if I don't know a lot about a particular subject. I love documentaries because I always come away from it knowing a lot more. So I would have to say documentaries are my favorite style. For sure, I think my favorite movie memory with O.C. Bridges was going to see Frozen 2 at the Kaleidoscope Center around the holidays. I remember all the Christmas decorations were up. It was super, super festive. It was a really great memory because in the movie, spoiler alert, when Olaf is lost in the forest, he's calling out people's names, everyone he knows. And he randomly blurts out Samantha or something like that. And, it was a funny moment. So, everyone in the theater was laughing. But the O.C. Bridges group, we were laughing extra hard because our mind went straight to the Samantha that we all know at the office. And so it was a very silly group moment where we shared this really funny inside joke because we all know Samantha. So that was a really great memory. I don't like scary movies. I don't like watching things that I feel like will give me nightmares. So yeah, scary movies are not my cup of tea.
Hey guys, so I don't go to movie theaters very often. Usually if I go, I want to see something that I think is going to be super funny or something that I think will be scary because I think they're scarier in the theaters. So my favorite experience that I like to do is going with my brother because I don't have a lot of friends that like scary movies. So if it's something he doesn't really care about or he doesn't think is going to be scary, I pay for his movie ticket and I get him snacks. We go to the theater and it's really fun. Usually he thinks I'm being kind of goofy because I get scared. But it's kind of been a tradition between the two of us now. So I think that's my favorite. Even if sometimes he laughs at me, I still think it's a lot of fun.